so much to be thankful for. So Eckhart Tolle says that the foundation of all prosperity and all abundance is acknowledging the good that you have already. And in his teaching, we have a saying that what we focus on expands. Have you found that to be true, that what you focus on expands? Absolutely. And when we focus on what we're grateful for, what happens? It expands. It has to. It's going to, because energy flows where our attention goes. You can use that as your little, and sometimes I have to catch myself because sometimes my attention isn't going in the most hotsy-totsy place that I want it to go. Sometimes it's south, but we have to remember, energy flows where our attention goes. So we want to channel our attention into things that are positive. So gratitude has an overall effect on our health. Did you know that? Our immunity system is boosted when we are grateful. Our immunity system and our heart health increases when we are grateful. So for those very reasons alone, we should be grateful. Now sometimes we're not feeling so grateful though, right? Sometimes we're not feeling so great. It's important then, whatever we're looking for, we're gonna find. Whatever we're gonna, anybody have Fibber McGee's drawer? Like one of those drawers where you throw everything in it? Did you ever notice that when you're looking, I always declare, okay, I'm knowing that whatever I'm looking for, and I start going through that drawer and I go, oh, there's that wrench I was looking for. Oh my gosh, there's that brake hold stuff I was looking for. I'm like, wait, I gotta stay on point. What was I looking for? Because sometimes we forget what we're looking for. Gratitude gives us a bigger picture. And it also makes us feel connected, doesn't it? The moment you step outside of yourself and feel grateful for something, it's not all about you anymore. It's about us. It's about the we of things. It's all about the connection with one another. Melody Beatty, anybody ever heard of her? She wrote Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. She writes a lot of books on codependency. And one of her quotes is, we may not always get what we want, but with a great awareness, we have the opportunity to want what we already have and to realize how much we already have. She also says gratitude turns what we have into enough and more. So sometimes coming from the place of wanting what you have and knowing it's enough. It's enough. Whatever it is that you have, it's enough. It got you by today and everything's working out fine. But the second we focus on what we don't, and heaven knows we have done that, what do you create more of? More of what you don't have. Because your focus becomes on, I don't have this. I don't have this. If you concentrate on what you don't have, you'll never have enough. Do you ever feel like that? Like you never have enough money, or you never have enough clothes, you never have enough shoes, or you never have enough whatever, friends, relationships, whatever it is. The second you focus on what you don't have, you actually set out that vibration of creating more of what you don't have. I love this quote. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Have you ever noticed that? I'm going through a lot of my clothes in the closet and giving a lot away. And Lainey and I have spent many hours going through other people's stuff and going through it. Even my neighbor passed away and I've been going through his stuff and helping him. And, well, not helping him, helping his family because he's gone. He doesn't have a lot of stuff anymore. And we're going through all these boxes and I'm like, oh, someone would love this, someone would love that. And I thought, you know what? We have to look at it in a different way. I look at my clothes and go, is this something that expresses who I am anymore? Or is it something, you know how you do that? And you look at we were just talking today how they don't make things like they used to. And you're going to keep that jacket from 30 years ago because you like the way it fits and the warmth and all that kind of stuff. But we have to know that when we look at things in a different way, our perspective about it will change. Sometimes we may see someone that bothers the heck out of us, and then all of a sudden, look at them in a different way and say, yeah, but you know, they've got a lot of stuff going on, and maybe they got this, or maybe they got that. All of a sudden, you look at them a different way, and you're not so cranky about them. Did you ever notice that? It was me. So when I visit my family in Chicago, it's crazy. There's always flocks of geese that fly over. So I started to think about it, and I thought, you know what, we can learn a lot from geese. I don't know if you know that, but if we could be as smart as geese are, we'd be in good shape. And you know, one of the things noted for is that V formation that they fly in. So what happens there is that the leader flies, God bless you, the leader flies in the beginning, and then there's two, and they flank out. There's two and two and two. They flank, support the leader. And what they do is they honk. And sometimes in Sister's neighborhood especially, they get a little bit annoyed because sometimes there's a lot of geese and they're all honking. And you're like, everybody's honking, but what they're doing, that honk is very important. That honk is an encouragement to the leader. It's an encouragement to the leader. Keep it going, keep it going. And when the leader says, you know what, I'm kind of tired, then he kind of honks back and then the next guy goes in line. But there's a couple things that happen. Those guys, 2 and the 3 and the 4 spot, or however big the flock is that's flying, their flapping gives the energy for the leader to keep going. It's like a wind thing that he creates, and he creates that experience, that leader going. And when that leader's done, he goes back and flies into a thing. I don't know about you, but I've had some people honk at me sometimes, and I haven't expected it to be very encouraging. But those honks are actually, and they also let the leader know where they're at. I'm thus and such in line, and I'm behind you, or whatever. They have this whole communication thing going on. And another thing that's important in that lesson, when gets tired or sick and falls back, 2 automatically go with it and take care of it. They automatically go with it and take care of it and stay with it until it can get its strength back up, and then that the 3 of them catch up with the flock. Isn't that the coolest thing, that they really support each other and say, I'm with you. You know what? We're going to be with you. So it's like they not only add that lift for that leader, but they also add encouragement when somebody's sick. Now you think about it. Gratitude gives a better picture of what makes our lives meaningful because it takes us out of ourselves. Those geese that are there helping the sick one, they're not thinking, oh God, now I'm out of formation, we're going to have to catch up, and we're going to be way behind, da da da. No, no, no. They're there for that other goose. They're there to help that other goose. Now think about this for a second. When those 2 geese drive back, and they're helping the sick one, you know, that sick one, we can think about that in terms of ourselves. Someone in our life is going through something. They know they're not measuring up. They know that they're in an icky relationship. They know that maybe they're not stepping up to the capacity that they should. They need to be reminded of what they're not doing. You know what we need to do? We need to encourage people in our lives. If things are going wrong for them, we don't need to go, you know, you blew it in that conversation, you know, you really did this or whatever. No, we need to go, you know what? You're doing a good job. Let me remind you of your greatness. Let me remind you of who you are, because you might have forgotten for a moment. But in that moment, we kind of drop back out of the formation and go, ugh, you know, things stinks right now. Life isn't going so great. Guess what? We're all here just to remind each other. Geese are geese cheer progress. They're cheer in progress. They're always cheering on and saying, we can do this, we can get through. And when things aren't happening, you can always say, this isn't happening, but the important word is yet. This may not be happening in my life right now, yet. But when you have your vision on what you're knowing and what you're grateful for, it actually comes into being. I like to flip the word grateful and say full of greatness. Full of greatness. And what we're doing is reminding ourselves that we're full of greatness. If someone's falling behind, we don't need them they're falling behind. But we do need to give them encouragement. Because what happens with encouragement? It's appreciation. And what happens with appreciation? Think of your bank account. Your money in your account is appreciating, which means nothing. So the moment that we appreciate someone, it helps them grow into being. No one gets going very much when someone starts shooting on them and pointing the finger and doing stuff. It makes it really difficult to kind of go on. But if we're encouraging them and being grateful for who they are in that moment, even in the icky stuff, in the icky, sticky stuff that we don't like, guess what? You're still a great person. And when we remind each other of that, ourselves, waking up in the morning and saying, I'm grateful to be alive. I'm grateful to be here. I'm grateful for little space heaters in our church that sort of work. they work in a smaller room, but we'll see. I mean, are you feeling warmer already?
Yeah.
See? Well, and thank God the weather's warmer out too. What you and I can do for a person having difficulty is not remind them, but encourage them. Encourage them. There's an importance in communication that you get from your friends, right? And that, whenever you're feeling down or anything and you want to feel grateful about your life, but you're not, go to a friend and say, remind me again of who I am, will you? Because I kind of fell off the wagon. I can't know who I am. Or go be around people that are loving and giving and etc. And they will perk you right up. Eric Butterworth has a beautiful saying. He says, anything that we bless, we confer prosperity upon it. It means to bestow. So when it's a formula for living, that living attitude. We bless our food, we bless our wallet, we bless our health, we bless our home, we bless our flowers, we bless whatever it is. And the moment we be doing, we're bestowing prosperity upon it. We're seeing the good in it. Not the, oh, you know what, I better fix this and da-da-da-da-da. You turn your critical eye away for a second and appreciate the things that are going on. So knowing everything happens to us. The important thing is whatever lesson that we're going through right now, whatever challenge, whatever struggle, you know what? You thought you were in it, and you can think your way out of it. And that's very important to remember, that our thought creates our experience. It came here, that challenge didn't come here to make us a bad dog. It came to say, oh, you know what? There's this area of light that you need to shine in here. It came to make us better, not bitter. It came to make us better and not bitter. And sometimes when we go through stuff, we get thinking about it. But if we remember, oh man, this is just me and correcting myself and getting in place with where I really want to be and how I really want to express. There's a Bible quote, in all things, in all circumstances, thanks. It doesn't say for all circumstances, because sometimes we're in these sticky situations that are not so wonderful, and they don't break, and we may feel heartsick, or we may feel lost, or we may feel confused, or we may feel anger, whatever the heck it is that we're feeling. But the moment that we give thanks for it and say, oh, you know what? You're only sent to get me back on track. It's only happening because I thought my way into it and my conscience got a little off track. And the moment I get back on track, the moment I say, oh, for a minute I forgot that life is wonderful. No matter what's going on, life is wonderful. And somebody say, well, you know what? In the space I'm in, life doesn't feel so wonderful. Well, guess what? The more you focus on it, the less it's going to be wonderful, because you're going to talk about all the things that aren't working. So the second you shift yourself into knowing, it'll happen. I have a gratitude journal. Sometimes it's so important to focus on the day and say, what are some of the things I'm grateful for? And it's simple. I'm grateful that my shoes fit me. I'm grateful that I have food on the table. I'm grateful that I have friends that I can call. I'm grateful for so many things that, you know, even some of the things that may look like a challenge wind up being a blessing in disguise, because they came and all of a sudden you have a shift in your own thinking. Bring your mind back to all sufficiency, because the moment we start to recognize everything that we're grateful for ties us back into that one mind, that one sense of being, that sense of bring your attention to the abundance of the greatness of life, and be full of greatness. Be full of the idea that, you know what, my life is boundless. My life is in so many areas that I'm going to just focus on that and know that truth. Now, the situation that you came into today, into this sanctuary, it's now changed. And why is it changed? Just because of this dialogue. Changed because all of a sudden our awareness focuses on something new. It focuses on, oh yeah, I can dial into this and know my gratitude. I can dial into anything that's going on and shift it just by the very I direct my focus of attention. And I can shift the energy. And that's what the whole thing about prayer treatment is about, is saying, you know what? Whatever is going on in my life, it's always for good. It's always for good. The moment you declare that, you can have the Fibber McGee's drawer in your mind. The moment you declare that, you'll find whatever it is you're looking for, because it's happening. Worry, remember, is praying for what you don't want. Worry for what you don't want. So you don't have to worry. Don't worry about things. Don't want the heat. You know what? I'm not going to worry about it. It's like, you know what? Divine right action is happening through our heater right now, and through all those guys that are repairing it. And you know what? We may discover coats we never knew were in our closet. Think of it that way. I have a big furry woolly coat. I'm not too cold this morning, so I'm okay, thank you. So today, as a reminder, I have a luncheon today honoring the volunteers. And you know what, when I look out here, every single person in this room is a volunteer. I mean, think about it. From the flowers that got put in, and Maria did a beautiful job on these flowers out here today. I'll think of Nancy and all the things she does, coordinating the vendors and organizing and da-da-da. Think about the donations people have made, the food people cooks, the everything that everybody's doing. Lainey, my goodness, we'd be lost without Lainey. I mean, think about it. All the volunteers, we get a chance to honor you. And what are we doing when we honor you? It's like, guess what? We're all in this together. And this center is what this center is because of all of you. Because you, and because we're all in this together. And we all pull together. Look at the bin with the cans. Look at the bin with the toys that we're giving. Look at the bin for the donations for Reverend Beverly and for our Christmas decorations, for everything else. All of that is that we all pull together. This center is an actual monument to everything that you guys have done. And because of your service, your generosity, but mostly because of your love for each other and for this center has grown. So it's really important that we go over next door and we're going to have this wonderful lunch. I have some little trinkets, but Lainey had recommended that some people have too much stuff. Little note things that I have and little stars that I have for volunteers. And you take them or leave them, but they're there at your leisure if you want them. But it was a way of acknowledging what you've done. So in closing, gratitude is a wonderful idea in itself. But in the end, it isn't where you're going or how you do it or what you did or anything. The true gift is about love. It's the love that you generate through your service, in there for each other, for your beautiful words of meditation or your beautiful words of camaraderie and your togetherness. It's the food you cook. It's everything. I mean, we've got this week where we're carrying all this food and going to be with our loved ones and friends. And think about it. All that is an expression of love and gratitude. To say thank you for being in my life. Thank you, Center, for being here. Thank you, all of you, for being. Thank you for making this an energy center that is, I see it growing. I don't know about you. Are you seeing it growing as well? I see it growing. We're going to have lots of things, new things, and that energy that we're bringing in, and that foundation in our life to jump off of, a springboard. Affirm me now, please. I am in harmony with all of life.
I am in harmony with all of life.
I am in the flow of all good things.
I am in the flow of things.
I am grateful.
I am grateful.
And I am full of greatness. I
I
recognize it now.
recognize
I acknowledge it in me.
I acknowledge
Look at the person next to you and say, you are great.
you are great.
I am thankful for you. And so it is. Thank you. And now we have another beautiful solo from our Susan.